Hi guys, it's Jim from On Point Samples, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a really full euphoric mix down and like how to stack your layers to create like a really full hardstyle break. I'm just gonna go over what to do with layering, kind of make your melody, then where you should put your mixer and whatever, and then the end result will sound something like this. So as you can hear, that sounds really full and in your face. Yeah, and I'll just start from the beginning. I actually already recorded this, but the audio screwed up, so I have to do this all over again. Before I dive into this, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. It helps us a lot, you know the drill. And yeah, hope you enjoy. So the first thing you want to do is create your melody. So I already have this melody here. Well, let's just start from scratch, okay? The only thing I'll do is grab this melody, put that there, and then I'll just, export this as a MIDI file. There you go. I'll open a new project. So now, first thing I want to do, I'll just really go over it super quickly. So we have Serum, then I open another Serum. So this is going to be my layer. Then I open another Serum because I want a chord layer. So what you're going to do before you do anything is think about what the layer is going to be. So in this case, I want 2 leads and 2 chords and 1 bass line. So these things will make up my total layer. The thing about hardstyle is making your layer bigger and bigger, but not too big because you don't want to you don't want your PC to burn down because you have too much CPU stuff going on. So the second thing actually you want to do is then open up your layer right there and you open another one because this is going to be the chords. And then I'll just give it a name. You know, you need to work organized, so it would be best to also work that way. I'll give it a color, call it chords. This one is going to be lead. And then this is just going to be chord 1. You think like this is wasting my time, but in the end, it's just going to help you out more. Then you have this layer. How you layer, like how you assign 2 VSTs to your layer is you open it up, you select these, and then you just set children. And then when this plays, it plays those 2. And you do the same thing for the leads. There you go. And then the bass. So what you then do is route all these things to your mixer. The second thing you need to do is work really organized. Like it doesn't work to put reverb and delay on one preet thingy and then here as well, and then create 20 automation clips to make it all work. What you need to do is route these to another mixer. Then you route this to another mixer. And then this will be the chords, obviously. You open up the chords, then you make a leads one, do the same thing. And these 2 goes to like break harmony or whatever, you know, break harmony. And I'll give it like this red color. And then you have the bass. And the bass, alongside the break harmony, go to another mixer, and this is called break everything. And the most important step here is just to prepare your break in your mixer, because it will make it so much more easy to apply effects and do it and like mix it down. And the mix is super important in this part. So I know that I want the leads to be this loud and then just a little bit like this, so it doesn't clip, and the break, the bass can be equally as loud as these. And then it goes into there. So the second thing you want to do is just open up an EQ, and you know your leads don't want any bass before you put any effect. So if you now put reverb, it only reverbs this part. And then this reverb somehow might, you know, generate some bass. I'm not sure how. Damn. But yeah, then you open up another bass, bass cut, and then you remove it there. And then the same thing you do for the leads, because the leads also don't need any bass. So you remove it just like this. It's free, you know, it doesn't cost money to add all these plugins. So I do it on the bus where it all comes together as well. So now you have this. I didn't even put any melody or whatever into it. It's just like the basic stuff. You gotta prepare your mixer. So then I'll find my MIDI and I'll add that to this part. There you go. So in this case, this is the melody and this is the lead. What you want to do is when you make the melody, don't make it like this. Make sure there's a little bit of room in between these notes. Also make sure to have no release or attack and no reverb or delay coming from your plugin. This way, this note is really tight, and that allows you, well, it depends on the kind of hardstyle you want to make, but in this case I want it to be really tight, and then this space, all these spaces will be empty, and then they can be filled with reverb, delay and whatever. So the second thing I'll do in terms of melody is, well, just outline these basses. You can just copy paste this. How you do, select more is Control Shift and then just select the ones you want, like that. I put that here, and then I'll just loop them, Control L, and do the same thing here. So this will be my bass. It's in G. This one will obviously be too low because you can play a C like that. That doesn't work. It's just too low, in my opinion. So then you just open up some presets or you create your own. And basically with Supersauce is just, you know, open this, put some basic EQ, maybe put some compression, maybe a little bit more, but that's it. There's nothing much to it. But I'll just open up some presets we have in our packs. So cool one, I think, is in Hardstyle Volume 1. It's Massive Chords. So you can already hear how this sounds really good. Oh, obviously need to change to 150 BPM. There we go. If I want to have the other chord, I think I'll just go to another preset and then maybe take this one. Then for the leads, you do the same thing. You make a lead or you just get a preset. For this one, I'll just take a preset. So in this case, let's see if we have a cool one. I like that one. And I also want to take, you know, another lead that may be a little bit rougher. So a really important part here is just finding the right sounds. If you don't get the right sounds, it obviously doesn't sound good. So, well, this is it now. So now you can hear and see that these chords, if you didn't do this in your mixer, it's really hard to mix it. So in this case, I can hear and see what sounds bad. Second thing I'll do, well, the other thing I'll do is just get rid of any effects because I'll just apply that manually, although it does sound pretty good. Then we get another lead like that. Bass in this case is going to be a Reese bass. We can go with a simple bass like this. Like it works, but I don't want that kind of bass. I want a Reese. So I'll take this Reese. We have pretty good Reese preset there. Make sure when you use Reeses to have this enabled always. That way it takes time to go to the note regardless if you place any legato on it. So in this case, it just, you know, goes to the note and takes a little bit of time. It sounds cool. So then the bass, it's got to be really crisp. Sub-Zero Project does this too. You just got to apply, like, make sure you boost these frequencies. That's what I'm trying to say. It makes it really crisp. You might want to add a compressor, but I don't care too much at the moment. So, and as you can hear, this sounds pretty good already. It just needs more work. Now we're going to do that is just, it actually needs effects. What I think right now and what you need to think about before you start this mixing process is what am I going to do with all these sounds. So the basic idea of reverb and delay is to fill up the room. So you need to get this layer just filling up this space as perfectly as possible. And it might sound really logical and like, why am I saying this? But where most people's mixdown goes wrong is with the reverb and delay. The thing you need to have is a ducking reverb plugin. I use Waves H Reverb a lot. It's really easy. It has a ducking effect built into it. It's just this here. And you put the threshold, and then as long as it's this or that, it won't play. And then when it gets over the threshold, it kind of opens up. I made a preset with that. And it's just a patcher preset. It's really simple. It's a dry and a wet signal. Here it is. It's the wet signal with 100% reverb. And it's just a dry signal. And then I can control how much reverb I want. It's this plugin. I want a little bit more reverb time. And the ducking is on, maybe a little bit more threshold. Then I have manual sidechain to give it more of a ducking effect. So it really opens up on the offbeat. And then I just remove frequencies I don't like of the reverb because this is 100% wet. So then I combine this and it sounds like this. And my CPU cannot handle this. So what I'll be doing is render these chords real quickly because, yeah, why not? And what I did is I created another layer. So I took those chords, let's see, 1 and 2 go here. And then I route them to this thing. And the third one goes there as well. But this is just a little bit higher. So it's an octave up. And it just fills up the spectrum a little bit more. So what I did is just take the this one and just put it up one more and render it as well. Now we have the chords. There we go. So what's missing right now is pitch modulation. Because I made this yesterday already, I only do the leads because the chords already rendered. What I just do is I create, oh, I shouldn't make 2. If you do this, it's not efficient. You just gotta move the knob, do less tweaked, link to controller, and then you choose the automation clip you already have. So that way you just have one automation clip instead of 20. So I want it to open up here, but not too much. You know, I don't want That's too much. I want it really subtly, so it needs to be like microtonal. And then here it goes down a little bit, not too much. Just like that. And then I want it to go down here too. And then up again, just like the first one. And this one goes down more drastically. That's it, it's that easy. So now I just copy paste this, and it just gives a little bit more spice to everything. So in this case we have the chords, the bass, the lead, all playing. So it looks like this. Now the second thing I might want to do is create this kind of effect on the bass, because here it's a little bit empty. Like here are notes, but here aren't notes. So just like that. The whole difference is just this ducking reverb plugin. In this case, I can also show you how to do it with like another reverb. You could do it this way. You know, you could do it manually. You just create a really wet effect and then, you know, just open it up. Like that. Let's see how it sounds. And then the thing is just I'm emulating this ducking effect, but this plugin does that automatically. So you can just do it like this, and now I just copy paste whatever I did here one more time. And then you kind of have the same effect. The only problem is that there's no reverb playing when the notes are. So you could open this up, which just means that the minimum, so like these knobs just go up to this percentage. So the bottom part. But this is just harder to do, but you get the idea. But I'd rather use this plugin. You can also use another, like just if you take Serum and open up pre-delay. So, okay, you know this beat starts at this time and then it ends here. So that's 400 milliseconds, as you can see. If this is 400 milliseconds, so that means it opens up at 200 milliseconds. That's the half. So the half beat comes at 200 milliseconds. So if I open the ducking reverb at 200 milliseconds, it opens up at half there. So you get the ducking effect as well. You get the same idea, but it just works better if you do it with this ducking plugin. Just type in ducking reverb effect and you'll get a cool set of plugins. There's probably a free one too, or just a method to do in FL Studio too. And then I might want to add a little bit more reverb just to fill it up more. So like that. And then I want the leads to pop. I want people to notice the lead more. So I'll put extra delay only on the leads. And this is so easy because I already routed it this way. Yeah, so here you go. And then I want the total thing to have a little bit more delay too. It just needs to bounce a little bit more. So. And I put it before the reverb because I want the delay to be reverb too. I just want the whole spectrum to fill with reverb and delay, but not too much. You need to like visualize how it looks. So you have like the leads and the chords are one thing, and then around it, it's like surrounded by reverb and delay. But the reverb and delay shouldn't overpower the dry signal. So what people tend to do is just put too much reverb and delay and it just sounds really bland, you know? So another thing you can do, and this sounds pretty full already, but you could try to get your chords to give a little bit more, like it needs to plucky effect. So you could do this with a compressor. What this does is just pulls the bottom and the upper frequencies that aren't reaching the threshold to the threshold, so it's more compressed, something like that. And it takes 50 milliseconds to apply this effect, and it does it for 200 milliseconds, and then it stops again. Something like that. This attack basically means if I compress it really tightly, it takes 50 milliseconds to get to this level. So if I showcase this with a limiter, what happens is kind of creates spikes, and that's what you want. This way your chords get a little bit more attack, and it makes it a little bit more crisp and accentuates each note a little bit more. So now just make it a little bit more loud, stuff like that. And then if you take everything off the break, you might want to add like remove some frequencies, and that's easy to do because you see which you don't like. And then you have the total thing here. Sometimes some OTT works as well. I don't think it'll work here because it sounds pretty compressed already, but you know. It doesn't sound better. So final thing you might want to do is just add some mastering, and the mastering is just basic multiband compression, just like this. And then I add some simple Maximus preset just to boost the volume a little bit more. I use Clearmaster RMS a lot of times. And you can hear the difference really clearly if I remove or add this multiband compressor. So this is how it sounds with. And that's without. So it kind of it just makes it more crisp. And then I add this, and I might want to remove some frequencies too. On your master, try reducing 300 Hertz because it really muddens up the mix. This is how it sounds. And just as a small recap, the thing you need to do is just before you start everything, just think about how many layer of leads do I want, how many chords do I want, and then what kind of bass do I want. So in this case, we took a Reese, we took 2 chords and 2 leads. Give it a proper coloring and naming, and then you route it to your mixer. Do the same thing here, route these to 1 and route these to 1. These 2 go to 1, and then this plus the bass goes into 1 as well. This way you can easily apply effects only to the chords and only to the leads, and then the chords and leads together, because you want the chords and leads together to be reverbing and delaying and doing whatever effect there is. You don't want one lead of your layer to do one thing. To accentuate this effect, you can easily just create a little bit of space between each note, but that depends on the kind of break you want to make. But this works in general. It just makes it a little bit more tight. And then you remove any effects, so no reverb and delay. And you remove the release, like to 50 milliseconds. Don't do too much, otherwise it will be clicky. And keep it at 0.5 milliseconds attack, because otherwise it will be clicky as well. That way, it just sounds really, really tight. And it allows these spaces to be completely empty from sound. And then you can add manual reverb in this way, or ducking reverb, or reverb with pre-delay, but just make sure the empty spaces gets filled up with reverb and delay in general. And then you don't want the part where the notes are playing to be completely dry. So there you might want to add some reverb and delay as well. And the best thing that works for that is the ducking reverb plugin like H-Reverb Stereo from Waves, and just create some kind of thing like this, but it would have worked only with this plugin too. Then just make sure you always cut the bass on your chords and leads. You might want to add a compressor to make it a little bit more clicky, as I just showcased there. And you could add OTT in case it doesn't work, or you just want to make it a little bit more spicy. And then for the respace, boost these frequencies. It makes it just more crisp. At the end, you might want to remove some frequencies, and you can do this because you know how the leads and the chords sound as an end result, because you keep using combined mixer buzzes. And then on your master, you just add multiband compressor and some boost EQ, and then it sounds something like this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Just leave a comment if you want to see more content like this. And don't forget to like, subscribe, stuff like that. It helps us a lot. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye.